We're live.
We're live. All right. Well, welcome to BBCan BB Breakdown 902 with Lindsay and Melissa together. This never happens. Hello, world. We're coming to you live from Toronto. This week, we're going to do it a little different. Normally, we recap the week, but we've been away for 2 weeks now because Lindsay was traveling, and
Just gonna put this on Twitter.
we are now back to reality. We're uploading to Twitter as she does that for all the people that watch us after the fact. Bear with us for 1 second. We are gonna, instead of recapping the whole week or 2 weeks that we've missed, tonight we're just gonna dive right into this week and our live experience yesterday at BBCan 7. We went to the live show there in Toronto, well, in Etobicoke actually. And oh yeah, we're not allowed to say the exact location, but I'm sure if you want to grab tickets, you'll find out. They send you an email giving you the location.
There
we go.
We're good.
So that was our experience yesterday. So we're just going to dive right into that. We're super excited to talk about it. We had the best time. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy hearing about the behind the scenes stuff that we're going to divulge. So I emailed 2.5 weeks ago for live tickets to the live show. Put on a wait list. I guess you have to email sooner than that. So for anyone interested in going, to make sure you get your dates all together and email them sooner. We had planned to do it this week because we were hoping to have a special guest, which we didn't end up having, which is totally off the mark. But anyway, so we planned it all out for me to come to Toronto to do both. And anyhow, long and short of it is we didn't get the tickets, so we went to the rush line. So they do have a rush line if you don't have tickets. And I went pick Lindsay up from the subway, and we got there, and there's 2 people in line, I thought?
Yeah, 2 people.
Yeah, so 2 people in line. I've got my car. There's no parking anywhere to be seen where the location is.
Yeah.
So Lindsay hops out, says, I'll wait in line, and I go find parking. You go from there.
Yeah, so Melissa goes and finds parking, and we meet this amazing woman in line who's clearly a huge fan like us. We should have her on.
Yeah, we really should.
And she's telling us, like, 100%, like, the rush line's going to get in. She's like, I come all the time. Like, this is so early in the day. It was pretty crappy weather. So we had pretty good seats, and that was cool. And then she was telling us all about it. And then the woman in front of us, she was a mom, and she had 2 daughters, and they came and joined too. So now we're the 5th people in line, and we're really super excited, but it's freezing. And the audience director kind of guy came out. He had like a bodyguard kind of vibe. And he came out and chatted with us, and Melissa spoke with him.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I really hope we get in. I was like, I drove 5 hours from Ottawa to get here for the rush line. He's like, 5 hours? I'm like, yeah, 5 hours. I'm dedicated. We're super fans. And he's like, oh, you're most likely going to get in. And we're like, oh, okay, this is going to be worth it. So we showed up there at 2. They didn't let us until 3:30. It was like -2, -3 degrees. And that would have been fine.
I didn't realize I was doing this.
Had it not been like raining and windy. So like you add those 2 factors in, and then you're just like cold to the bone, damp, just like, oh my word. Like at first we were like, oh yeah, this is going to be worth it. And by the hour mark, we're like, oh my, we're freezing. And so anyways, we get in at the 1.5-hour mark, and there's this huge lineup for coat check. And I had a little hoodie coat, and Lynn's had her jacket. And we look at each other and we're like, do we really need coat check? No, we don't. Then the bouncer guy was like, hey, girls. He grabs my shoulder, and I'm like, hi. He's like, I have seats for you. He takes me. And meanwhile, Lindsay's like got blinders on. She's like going straight to the seats that she sees like kind of up and over to the like main stage. But he grabbed me, and I'm like, Lindsay.
And ET Canada was there because Ika was there with Cassandra.
Yeah.
So ET Canada is getting ready for their session or whatever. And so like Melissa's like, call my friend Lindsay. So the ET Canada producer is like, Lindsay.
Yeah, because Lindsay's like charging forward, like getting up there, like in mission, like blinders on, like we're getting these seats, we're sitting here, because she had to pee. So she was like, we got to get our seats so I can go try and find the bathroom. Meanwhile, big producer guy, or not producer guy, like audience, like kind of in
Director
charge of like letting people in, like kind of in charge of like or not agreeing, but like accepting the emails for people to get tickets, whatever. He's ushering me to like, here's the stage, and then in front of the stage where Arissa does everything, there's 3 rows, and he's ushering us to the 3rd row center. So we're like literally dead center to seeing everything. It was amazing, like the best seats in my opinion. We get there and Lindsay goes to pee. You tell the story about going pee.
Okay, so I am like in a situation, I'm about to pee my pants. So I say to the people, they're all like young little kids, right? Like who work there behind the scenes. There's some interns, there's like young people, and they're all like wearing like kind of like jogging pants and like t-shirts that say BBCan 7 or whatever. So you know that at least they're working there. And I say to this guy, like, I gotta go. So one sec, sorry. So we I go in the back and they're like, follow us. And I follow this guy, this young kid, and he takes me behind the set. And behind the set was the coolest part because, okay, the big eye that you guys see where like the host guest comes out of, that, we can say this, right? Like this is okay to say?
I think so. They told us at the beginning, well, there was no phones allowed whatsoever, no cameras, like, not allowed.
They didn't say we couldn't use words, though.
And they said we could not tell what happened until after the show airs. So I think we're okay to say
we're fine. Okay, so anyway, the eye, okay, behind the scenes, there's like 3 to 4 steps, and you walk up, and then there's like a stage, maybe like probably like 3 to 4 feet long. And that's where the host guest just stands and waits to go. So they're ushered up the stairs and stand there and wait until it's their moment to come out. So I go in behind to go to the bathroom, and it's in the cafeteria where they they feed all the staff, which is cool. So there's like all these like hot plates and everything out because they fed them lunch and whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like fruit and all this, and everyone's coming out and around and whatever. And I stand in line to go pee, and I'm like bouncing. And when I see like when we're going into the cafeteria area, it's like, shh, the host guests can hear you, because they were right, like the studio is right next to us. So the house like was right there, and I'm like peeing, and it was so cool. And then when we came out,
who would have thought peeing would be that cool?
I know.
I was meanwhile like in our chairs, like holding our chairs.
Learning about how to be in the audience, which I didn't learn. So I come out from using the bathroom, and they make us all kind of wait with everybody to kind of finish up peeing so they can usher us back as a group, as opposed to doing like one by one by one. So we go back as a group.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, we go back as a group, and then essentially like we're like, I sit down and I like take out my phone and start taking pictures. And this one's like, you're gonna get us kicked out, because I didn't know we weren't allowed to have like phones. I missed that part of it. I was peeing.
No,
so anyway,
they're like, absolutely no phones. Turn your phones off. And they're like, we have kicked people out in the past.
Yeah, he's like, I had to do it last
Lindsay
week.
missed all that, so I was like, oh, she comes back and she's got her phone on, and she wanted to like take a picture of me, and I'm like, put your phone away.
Yeah,
like, we're not allowed to have phones. And Cassandra and Ika were there doing their BBCan stuff.
Yeah, I had to scooch by them to go like.
Yeah, before they'd started their interview, Lindsay like literally like.
I was like, excuse me.
Yeah, they were there just setting up with BBCanada, so we got to see all that happen live and see how absolutely beautiful they are live.
Oh yeah,
like,
they're beautiful. And Dimitri
stunning.
was there, and like, and so was Cassandra's like fiance, and he was like taking all these videos of Ika, and then he was like smiling and taking pictures of her, like the proudest. He was so proud and so happy, and she's so great. But like honestly, he looked like such a doting partner. Like I was like, that's who I want in a partner. He really loves her.
He loves
Nothing
her.
about that is pretend.
No, not at all. Like they, honest to God, like
are in love.
In love, 100%. Like beautiful couple. Like they're both stunning. Like it wasn't the cameras. It's not the makeup. It's like they're legitimately, when you see them in real life, you're like, wow, you're beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. They did not stand outside for an hour and a half.
No, they didn't. And that's the other awesome thing, is because we got there so early, because we wanted to be in the rush line, and we wanted to make sure like we were in front of the rush line, so that if they did let some of the rush line in, we would for sure get in. We got to see the BBCanada car arrive, and they went in like a separate entrance, obviously. And then we got to see Cassandra arrive with her fiance, which was exciting. And I knew right away who they were. Excuse me. And then, anyway, so then after that was all said and done, Arissa comes out, talks to us a wee bit.
A wee bit. She talked to us the whole time.
She did.
So awesome and so charismatic, and she makes that whole show.
Oh,
she's
totally
the best.
And like, she really like showed us how much of a super fan she was, like the entire show, like in between breaks or whatever, when they were showing like what was happening in the house.
She was like, what if this person wins HOH? What do you think the person will do this? And she was like, she was calling the Pretty Boy Alliance the Petty Boy Alliance.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. She called them the Petty Boy Alliance, and then she
like laugh, like an evil laugh. Oh,
yeah.
It was so funny. She was having so much fun with it. Her mom was there.
Yeah.
Which was cool because she announced her third pregnancy, which is super exciting that we got to be there for that special announcement.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I love this show. That makes, like, obviously you guys know that, but then at the same time, like, what I found was most interesting was like the fact that like I would go every week just to see her because she was that great.
Mm-hmm. Like, it was really like a once in a lifetime kind of thing, because like who knows when I'll be back and we'll be going again, like, together. Because obviously we're both super fans and we're super fans together, and it just made it that we had gone to somebody that like legitimately loved the show as much as like we both love it.
Yeah.
So it was just
and like basically we're sitting there and then
awesome.
like we're like watching
awesome.
the edited like parts of that you see like, okay, and now we're gonna go to Sam and Adam being in love, and then they show that snippet. But we watch it like TV. There was a huge television right there that we watched that, which was cool. And then when the live stuff is happening, it's a little bit different. Like, it's actually pretty different. Like, she's like, okay, now I'm going to read you this. Okay, now we're going to do the votes. The votes are as fast as like it seems on television. That's all live. Like, nothing about that. But they like, we knew before Sam knew, obviously. That's how it always works. But it was just like really cool. And then when Sam leaves the house, and then she comes out, that's about 15 minutes between like the time they get her out of the house and get her up the stairs to wait. So we had to like wait, and then like Arissa's in her ear and like talk. Like, it was so interesting because like on television it's like, and now here she is. Like, yeah, it was cool.
And what we got to see, which was the best part, was like what was going on in the pantry. Like, we're probably going to see this next show, but like we got to see all the insides of like,
yeah, like they show you a little,
what you don't see on feeds, because you don't see that part because you're waiting for Sam to come out and talk to Arissa or whatever, be evicted from the house. But we got to see like them in the pantry talking, like
Kira's
crying, like, so ridiculous. Thoughts on that? I don't understand why Kira couldn't have given Sam a vote. Like, she knew she was or they knew she was leaving. How come they couldn't throw her a vote? Like, I don't understand how that benefited their game one way or another. Like, don't get that at all. But anyway, she's in there, being very legitimately emotional, not just pretending to be emotional, like crying by herself before Adam came in to talk to her.
Adam's like, oh, you're crying about the fact that you gave her a vote?
Yeah.
You didn't give her a vote? Oh, she doesn't care about that. Like, it was fine. When Sam came out, her family was there. And you always kind of see them like recognize their family, like, oh, and they cry a little bit. But like before they started like live taping and like talking to her cousin who was there representing, yelled out, "Grandma loves you," and she started crying, and then they started rolling. So it looks like she's crying as soon as like she came out, which she was. But she also looked fierce as fuck and looked amazing. Oh my God. And like she was so beautiful in person. I was like
stunning.
On my best day, on my wedding day, I will never look that pretty.
So she was just like, she looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Like, everything we've seen of her in the house, whatnot, but in person, she's just like so beautiful. She has this air of confidence on her. Yeah. Even being evicted from the house, she was just like legitimately beautiful.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. And then they waited until, so they talked to her super quick, and then they wait until like she's out of earshot because she's on jury now, so they can't talk about anything. So they had to wait until she was like out of the realm of hearing anything, basically the bathroom. Because you can't hear anything in there. But yeah, once they got her out of earshot, then they talked about the rest of the game, like who's going to win HOH and what's going to happen and stuff like that. And then we talked about like, well, what would happen if Mark won? Yeah. And we talked about that. And then
we talked about what would happen if each house guest won, and like the audience
as a group,
weighed in. and no one wanted Mark to win HOH, and then he ended up.
And then somebody yelled out, like, this is our fault. We made this happen.
Yeah, so spoiler alert if you're not following feeds and you don't know that Mark already won HOH, he won. And he won, like, he knows his days. Like, he's been studying more than
They asked so many questions. I don't know how many show on, like, last night's show.
And I felt like they were asking, like, way more than they normally ask, too. Like, I felt like they were trying to let, like, some of the other people that were just, like, a point behind Mark try and catch up so that it was more of a, like, even playing field, but he wasn't getting anything wrong.
And it wasn't as quick as it is when we watch it back on television either. Like, yes, they asked him a lot of questions. I think probably 15 questions were asked, like not 3 or 4 like they normally do.
Yeah.
They asked a ton of questions. And it's like the host had been told and talked to about it because they knew to wait. They knew not to, like, talk. Once they were in their, like, little box areas, like, they knew, like, they had to wait. And so she was like, and now the next question. And then, like, sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. So they would roll again, like, and Arissa would go, and now the next question.
Yeah.
And, like, they knew to, like, kind of be ready and they didn't react and stuff like that. So to a certain extent, some of it is scripted, but when they knew they were being filmed, but, like, not being filmed and, like, weren't, like, kissing at the top of the stairs and all that, in the pantry where they were, like, really talking, like, it was very different. Like, it was, like, game. So it was really cool. But, like, but they definitely know the rules. Like, this is not their first rodeo.
Yeah.
I found.
Yeah, it was good. I was shocked that Mark knew as much as he knew. Like, I didn't think, like, he was really studying as hard as he did. And
they've not shown him on feeds at all.
And he said he wanted to shake things up. So it should be interesting to see this week where he takes this week, what he does with this week. Do we think that he's going to nominate the PB boys? Like, he's kind of, like, hinting at on feeds. Like, what do you guys think if you're out there listening live to us? Like, do you think they're gonna nominate? Do you think he's gonna nominate the PB boys, or do you think that he's just gonna bow out of that and take the easy way out?
We had a legit conversation about this morning because, like, and then, like, Melissa was like, save it for the podcast. But honestly, I think it's silly if he puts up his own alliance. I don't care that there's still, like, 7 people in that house that he can nominate. It'd be foolish to nominate his alliance. And honestly, if he's like, well, this is exposing us or whatever, who cares? Everyone knows what's happening at this point. Like, lines have been drawn. Like, Kira's going to stick with Dane. Essie's going to stick with Dane. Like, you know, Anthony's with Corey. Like, lines are drawn. So who cares? Who cares if it's exposed? I think, I don't know. He seems like a big talker. To be frank, they have not shown much of Mark at all. So I don't feel like I know him or Damien as a player. They're the only 2 in the house that I don't feel like I know. And I'm watching live feeds. They never show up for me, ever.
Or maybe it's just you're not picking their camera reel.
Well, it's because they're talking
occasionally, but, like, I guess because they don't talk as much game as the rest of them, like, I find they're not on as often. But I don't also, like, I know Damien gets along really well with everybody in the house and he's super even keel, but I was saying this yesterday too, like, I don't understand the Damien allure. Like, he's not, in my opinion, he's not gaming. He is definitely floating. And yes, he's, like, a great representation of Canada. But in the same token, like, is that really what we want to win? Like, is somebody that's floating through? I honestly, like, never cheer for, like, the alliance that's dominating. But
that whole audience yesterday thinks Dane's gonna win. Like, Dane's the one. But Dane's the one. He's the one I want to win. He's not even on my team.
Yeah, so they did, like, a poll of, like, who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? And Dane's name was the one that was, like, kind of the most yelled out. There were some Anthony fans, and I do think Anthony is playing a superb game.
I have caught on to the Anthony train. I'm obsessed with him. And I actually think he and Dane, I think he's actually pretty strong. I think Dane's a larger target, but Anthony's actually playing a really strong game. And honestly, like 3 weeks ago, I don't know that I'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of come out of nowhere. So who knows? Maybe Mark will have an amazing week and be strong and blah, blah, blah. But, like, I'm curious to see how this week goes. It's always one of these weeks where it's like a wild card. Because if it was Dane, like, we know what would happen. If it was Adam, we know what would happen. It'd be a boring week. Like, this is going to be a different one.
Yeah, so from what I've been seeing on feeds, because I haven't been watching it because I've been here, but I've been reading that, like, Adam's name is getting thrown around by Mark. I really don't know that he's going to do that. And he took he took Damien to Wendy's and told Damien he was good. So I don't know. We'll see how this week plays out. But I just think at this point in the game, where the PB boys have really seriously been dominating, I don't think it's a smart move for Mark to make a move on them just yet. I think it's smarter for them just to steamroll through and then have it be the battle of the best in the final four. And maybe he will make a move against them this week, knowing that he's the bottom of the totem pole.
Especially if it's like a
but we'll see.
remembering comp or something, because he's clearly great at that. Dane, not so much. Adam was okay. It was interesting, but I think it's going to be. I always also really take into account what the host guests order at Wendy's. That's super important to me. I don't know why. Like if you get a spicy chicken, I'm like, oh, good for you. And then if you get a salad, get the hell out of here. Like no, yeah.
Lindsay used to work at Wendy's.
Well, no, that's not why I'm judging them. I'm just saying, like, like, what are you going to order? Are you going to get a single combo? That's boring. Get a real burger. Anyway.
I like the spicy chicken.
Me too. Number 6. That's a number favorite. 6.
I like the spicy chicken and I like the bacon deluxe. But
oh, it used to be called the Big Bacon. It was $5.74 when I worked there.
Yeah.
The more you know. And
I like that Wendy's, because they have a taco salad, they have sour cream. So whenever I go, I don't know if you remember this about me ordering, but whatever I would get, like whatever combo I get, I always ask for a little thing of sour cream on the side, and then I dip my fries in the sour cream, and it's so freaking good. If you don't do that when you go to Wendy's, you don't know what you're missing.
Hardest job I ever had, Wendy's. Not the job I currently have, where I'm responsible for things. It's Wendy's. I work so hard. You're on your feet all day. I don't know. I'm not used to that. So, but yeah, it was an amazing experience. We had a super fun time. Super sad to see Sam go, and I can't wait to see how this week plays out.
Yeah, me too. I'm interested to see what Mark will do, and I'm interested to see if he does put the PB boys up, if he'll put 2 of them up, which would be the smartest thing to do, because they're definitely, one of them's going to win the veto.
Yep.
So we'll see how the week plays out, and I think that's going to be it for tonight. Tonight's a quick podcast. We were so excited to get on and talk about our experience, because it was just freaking amazing.
Yeah. Our friend Catherine has been sitting here the whole time. She's going to wave now. We're making it work.
Yeah. She doesn't watch Big Brother,
but she's listened to this story now twice. So
I feel like I watched.
You know exactly what happened.
She's
signing up for tickets right now.
What to get a friend when other gift ideas have run out.
Exactly.
All right, so that's it. Comment on the bottom, like us, that'd be awesome. Or comment on our Twitter page and let us know what you think, and what you think Mark will do with this week. I'm so intrigued. I hope it's something interesting, out of the norm. But we'll see. We'll see if he shakes it up or not.
We'll see.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.